and you'll be back later on. Hey, true blue. Hey, true blue. Give it to me straight, face to face. Are you really disappearing? Just another dying race. Hey, true blue. True blue. Is it me and you? Is it mom and dad? Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when he's in a fight? Or just Vegemite? True blue, I'm asking you. Hey, true blue, can you bear the load? Will you tie it up with wire just to keep the show on the road? Hey, true blue. Hey, true blue. Now be fair dinkum. Is your heart still there? If they sell us out like sponge cake, do you really care? Hey, true blue. True blue. Is it me and you? Is it mom and dad? Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when she's in a fight? Or just Vegemite? True blue, I'm asking you. True blue. Is it me and you? Is it mom and dad? Is it a cockatoo? Is it standing by your mate when he's in a fight? Or just Vegemite? True blue.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. All my memories gather round her, mine are dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eye. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, I hear her voice in the morning hours. She calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads.
Ladies and gentlemen, grief is not a fleeting phase, nor a storm that swiftly clears. It lingers, reshapes, and stays, a silent partner through the years. In grief, there's strength, a resilience found in carrying memories and learning to live, honouring what was while moving around. Proof that love continues to give. So let grief be without shame or fear. It's not a weakness to display. It's love's echo, ever clear, a testament that will not decay. For grief and love are intertwined, two sides of a coin, a single thread. In mourning, love is redefined, a lasting bond that is not dead. Embrace the sorrow, honour the pain, for in their midst, love's light is cast. Through tears and heartaches, we sustain the memory of a love that lasts. Deep grief is palpable in the chapel this morning as we've come together to celebrate the wonderful life of Ronald Mark Stillman, Mark as he was known to all. A life lived with a great love for his family, his work, his colleagues and his friends. A man who loved people and who was loved by so many. On behalf of his loving wife, Linda, his children, Tim, Karen, Jamie, Diana, and Matt, deceased, along with their partners, Michael, Sharon, and Michael, and their families, as well as his brother, Greg, and sister Kay. I welcome you, his closest family and friends, and I thank you for being here today. I also welcome all those who are viewing online as they were unable to join us in the chapel this morning. At the conclusion of our service, you are warmly invited to stay for light refreshments, to share your memories, tell your stories, and support one another. You are all here today because you have one very important thing in common. Your lives have been touched by the good fortune of having known Mark. Whether family, friend or colleague, your lives have been blessed by this remarkable, kind, caring, gentle giant. Today we will touch on aspects of Mark's life that will have affected you all in different ways and will mean different things to each and every one of you. They may evoke memories which you can take away from here and keep safe. Mark's devotion to his family was characterised by his genuine connection to them, sharing his strong values of love, respect, kindness and compassion, sharing his passions, his great sense of humour and his vast knowledge of a myriad of things. He accepted everyone and was comfortable chatting with anyone he came across. He never looked down on anyone and was always happy to strike up a conversation with anyone, regardless of their status in life. While you did need to earn his respect, once you had it, you had a loyal ally for life. He had a special magnetism that drew people to him, and everyone delighted in his company. His strong sense of social justice meant he lived by the mantra, "The behaviour you ignore is the behaviour you accept." And so he was always willing to speak up if he saw injustice and always willing to go to any length for his family. He was immensely proud of his children, his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren, cherishing the strong relationship he had with them and the legacy he was leaving behind. Born on the 4th of April 1947 in Hastings, a small town on the Mornington Peninsula in Victoria, Mark was the eldest son of Ronald and Beverly Stillman. Sadly, his twin died at birth. Spending only a short time in Hastings, the family moved to King Island, Mark taking on dairy farming with his father. In 1949, another set of twins were born, Greg and Kay, and the family was complete. Starting school on King Island, Mark's father was tragically killed in a farming accident when Mark was only 8. And Beverly and her children left the island to live with her mother in John Street, East Devonport, while their new home in Mary Street was being built. Moving into Mary Street, Mark and his siblings attended East Devonport Primary School, and later he and Kay attended Reese High School, while Greg went to Devonport High. Always a very active man, Mark played football with the East Devonport Football Club, and when he returned to King Island in his early 20s to run the farm, he joined the King Island North Footy Club, the same club that his father had played for. A marvellous story of Mark kicking a goal from centre half back is still recounted today. The ball may have been wind assisted, but the story has reached legendary status. He also played badminton and cricket for many years. Before returning to the island, Mark married his first wife, Judith, in Devonport, and once settling on the island, their children Tim and Karen were born. Mark worked hard on the dairy farm to support his wife and children, but also had many interests. Joining the Rodeo Association, he was a well-respected bull and bronco rider, and was named champion steer rider in 1979. A mountain of a man, he also took on the most dangerous role of the rodeo, that of a clown. The clown distracting the raging bulls so that the riders could get to safety. Alongside of all of this, he was also a dab hand at whip cracking. After leaving the island, he continued his passion for rodeo while living at East Yolla. Diving for abalone with brother Greg as young lads in East Devonport, Mark continued to dive while on the island, abalone and crayfish being their main catch. He was also the inaugural president of the Kelp Association on the island, a role for which, again, he was highly respected. Mark and Judith ultimately went their separate ways. Mark had met Linda in the late 70s, and they decided to marry in a simple ceremony in her mother's garden in Mary Street, East Devonport, in 1982. This was followed by a move to Burnie, living in both West Park Grove and View Road, before settling on a small hobby farm in East Yolla. Linda's children, Jamie, Diana and Matthew, became part of the Stillman family, and so began a dynasty of 5 children, 9 grandchildren, 12 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. While living at East Yolla, Mark worked as the West Coast manager for Lloyd's North, overseeing the construction of many roads, dams and canals for the hydroelectric scheme along the West Coast. He also worked for many years at an engineering company where he was highly respected by his colleagues. A special moment for his grandchildren was spotting his car in the work parking lot whenever they drove past. To them, Yolla felt like a fair distance away, so having their granddad nearby was also an exciting surprise. I believe the engineering company was called Danmore, where he was working as an estimator, and he also held his team in high regard. Ploughing fields with draft horses and playing polocrosse, Mark was always busy. Regarded by his siblings as a fabulous brother who was always there when needed, Mark was a quiet achiever who simply got things done. No fuss, no fanfare, he just got on with it and got things sorted to assist wherever he could. Described to me as the best dad ever, Mark would do anything for his kids and always had their backs. He was also the best granddad, offering the same unwavering love and support to his grandchildren. The move to Rocky Cape in 2005 into the forever home built by Mark and Linda with family's help enabled the family to come together, be it helping with the livestock, cutting wood, or simply sitting around the campfire with Mark playing the guitar and entertaining everyone with his quirky sense of humour. A jack of all trades, he could fix anything, design, make, appraise. Also a keen pilot with the Northwest Aero Club, the family enjoyed many a flight with Mark at the yoke. Put simply, nothing was too much trouble for this gentle giant. Holding grandchildren as soon as they were born, his heart would swell. Never big-noting himself, everyone knew that they could rely on him. And then there was another vitally important part of Mark's life, his involvement with the Masonic Lodge. Later in this service, a Masonic oration will be delivered by David Griesbach, where we will hear of his amazing service to this organisation. A fit and healthy man, the diagnosis he received in December was heartbreaking. In the months that followed, Mark was always surrounded by his family and he was rarely alone. He passed away peacefully in his sleep with his son by his side on Saturday, February the 22nd. And the world lost a truly remarkable man. He will be missed deeply by his family and all who knew him. Sleep peacefully, Mark. Your work here is done. We now have the privilege of viewing the first collection of photographs that depict aspects of Mark's life. The beautiful song My Way by Andrew Rial has been chosen to accompany these. Beautiful, beautiful memories. There are several tributes this morning, ladies and gentlemen, and the first are from granddaughters, Melanie and Alicia.
For those who don't know me, I'm Alicia, one of Mark's granddaughters, although I like to think of myself as the favourite. The claim was recently put to the test though when my uncle opened Granddad's wallet and found a picture of Grammy and one of my sister and me. The catch, my sister is front and centre while I'm just a tiny head in the background. I do have a voicemail where Granddad calls me the favourite, so I'm happy to call it a tie for the title of favourite granddaughter. Thank you all for being here today. Granddad would have been truly touched to see so many people gathered in his memory. As you've all heard today, Granddad was a man of many accomplishments, deeply respected and loved by everyone who had the privilege of knowing him. Most of you likely saw him as a serious professional figure he was, someone who carried himself with dignity and grace right up to the end. But to us, his family, he was simply Granddad, a soft-hearted, fun-loving man who was always there for us, always in our corner. One of my favourite memories of Granddad is how he embraced life, even in the ways you might not expect. Back in the mid-90s, when computers were just beginning to find their place in Australian homes, many were still a little unsure about them. Granddad wasn't intimidated by new technology. In '95, when my mum wanted to take a local computer course at TAFE, she was hesitant to go on her own. Granddad, at 48 years old, offered to go with her. He didn't want her to feel alone, and he thrived on learning new things. That was just who he was. Never afraid of challenge, always embracing whatever came his way. Over the years, I often found myself getting calls from him asking for help with technology. He always worried he was a bother, but honestly, I loved every one of those phone calls. What other grandfathers do you know could Zoom their grandkids during COVID or keep up with the latest trends on Facebook? That was Granddad, constantly learning and always adapting. I'm especially thankful for the time I spent with Granddad over the last few months. While I don't want to focus too much on that time because it was too brief and it doesn't define who he was, I'm incredibly grateful for those moments, or as I like to think of them, bonus days. There was one evening when Granddad was in hospital, in quite a bit of pain, and I was trying so hard to be brave. But the tears came and wouldn't stop, and I was afraid I was letting him down. Somehow, without even realising, I ended up curled up beside him on the hospital bed, crying my heart out. I apologised for being upset and worried I might be hurting him. But Granddad, ever the reassuring presence, wrapped his arms around me and said, "It's okay. I'm happy I get to be Granddad one more time." Even in his pain, he was helping me through mine. I'd also like to take a moment to thank my Uncle Tim. It was a difficult time for all of us, but Tim stepped up, showing unwavering support every step of the way. There was many highs and lows, but he was always there, a constant presence. I don't think he fully realises how much we appreciate him. We're lucky to have him, and Granddad's legacy will live on, not only through him, but all of us. Granddad, I love you, I miss you, and I'm so grateful for the time we had together. I'm not sure how we go on without you in the world. But for now, bye now.
Well done, girls. What a special relationship you had. I have the honour of presenting a tribute that Tim has written to his father. Tim has written, "My dad, my best friend, my mentor, and my inspiration. You have taught me to be strong, independent, and to have a great work ethic. I remember when we used to stock work on King Island with our horse Prince and the various rodeo horses we used on the farm, along with the fishing, shooting and mutton birding. Then we would fly over to Tassie and do various rodeos around the north and Scottsdale and visit Nan and Pop and everyone else while there. But then there were the porkies that we were told by you, like the one when you bought an old record home that you'd found on the side of the road and proceeded to tell us that you'd come across a snake spinning the record on the tip of its tail and using its fangs as the needle to get a tune out of it. And the reason it had a big chunk out of it was because you'd scared it. Well, really, don't think we really believed that one. And everyone knows about the time you got me to hold a stick so you could crack the end off it with a stock whip. Well, I pulled back, and it still got me around the wrist, and I still have the scars today. Well, moving forward a few years, I moved to Yolla at the end of grade 8. Dad would help out umpiring and giving us shed talks when I played school footy. He showed me how to work and show the draft horses. I even got some ribbons at the local shows. He helped me with my welding and mechanical knowledge and making things out of nothing. He taught me lots of life skills. On finishing high school, I moved to Launceston to start my apprenticeship as a diesel mechanic for Lloyd's North. In my third year, I was transferred down west to be with Dad, looking after the fleet of articulated dump trucks, up to about 36 in total. Dad kept me busy, taking lots of time out of his day to show me the ropes. It soon became apparent how respected he was by contractors and hydro people everywhere. In 2007, we welcomed Harrison into the world. I can still see the smile on Dad's face when they both met, and the same smile was there the last time they got to see each other. Anyway, I could go on for hours about the things we did and the people he knew, but I'll close by saying I am so wonderfully proud of my dad. I miss you so much, but I promised you I would stay strong and do what I can to look after everyone, including myself. So I'll see you someday, and it's simply bye for now. Tim. Thank you, Tim. I am also honoured to read daughter Diana's tribute to her father. And she has written, "The memories of a wonderful dad are like treasures that will forever stay with me, lighting up even the darkest days. He joined our family when I was in my early teens and became a father figure to myself and my brothers. I don't remember him ever being angry or raising his voice to us. I'll always remember how he made me laugh with his silly jokes and how his laughter was contagious, filling the room with warmth. He had a way of supporting me, whether it was about something serious or something simple. He was patient, and I never felt he was too busy to listen. He made me feel special, and he was so proud as he walked me down the aisle. He welcomed my husband Michael into the family from the first day they met. When my own family grew, he was there when our daughters Melanie and Alicia were born. He was the proudest granddad. He was there as they grew, always interested in what they were up to, from first teeth, first steps, starting school, jobs, and then boyfriends, husbands, and their own children. Still a constant presence in all our lives. Above all, he showed us that love isn't about blood, but about care, commitment, and being there for one another no matter what. I always introduced him as my dad, and he always introduced me as his daughter. He was the best dad, and he will be cherished forever. Thank you, Diana. And the final tribute this morning is coming from Norman, who is a member of the Rocky Cape Hall Committee. Thank you, Norman.
For those that don't know me, I'm Norman Berkery and I'm the Vice Chair of the Rocky Cape Hall Committee. Mark was a great friend and mentor to me and has taught me a lot over the last few years. He is one of life's true gentlemen. He was instrumental in the Rocky Cape Community Hall rebuild. Mark was the chair of the committee during this time, which he held up to the present time, and he led the committee through the transition. We, the Rocky Cape Hall Committee and the local community, are indebted to his commitment and passion for the community and his leadership that shone through all that time. Last year, he organised a grant to purchase a defib to be located outside the hall for the community. This was the heart of Mark, always thinking of others. My wife Rachel would often call him Mr. Stillman, and he'd always turn around and come back to her and say, "Call me Mark. Mr. Stillman makes me seem old." A few weeks back, I gave him a call before our last meeting, just to touch base, as I often did, and he said, "I don't think I can make the meeting. Please pass on my apologies. I really want to be there, and I feel bad." That was his attitude through everything. And last of all, Linda, we are thinking of you and all the family, and rest assured we will never forget the mark he has left on our community. Rest peacefully, Mark.
Thank you, Norman. A second set of photographs will give us further insight into Mark's life. Memories and Dreams by Slim Dusty and Chandelier of Stars by John Williamson have been chosen to accompany this set of photos.
I'm here at the horizon, between the future and the past. I'm looking through the things that fade to the things that really last. The road that I've been traveling, I would not trade for gold. It's helped me choose the path between the new ways and the old. You can think about the music and the good times that we had. You can think about the way we felt when we had it really bad. But I can't help feeling hopeful for all the future brings, when I think of joining one more time in the new songs that we'll sing. 1,000 years are over and 1,000 just begun. A man must stand and think about the things that he has done. And no matter what they tell you, it's not as easy as it seems to walk the line that lies between our memories and our dreams. Let me tell you one more story, let me sing you one more song. Let's raise another glass to all our friends who come along. Let's talk about the way we were and the way we're yet to be. And when you're walking towards tomorrow, keep a weather eye for me. 1,000 years are over
and 1,000 just begun. A man must stand and think about the things that he has done. And no matter what they tell you, it's never easy as it seems to walk the line that lies between our memories and our dreams. To walk the line that lies between our memories and our dreams.
When my traveling days are done, will you still be with me when all the songs have been sung? Standing right beside me, watching the grandkids grow. I've got everything but nothing without you. I've got mountains, I've got rivers, got a chandelier of stars, got blossoms on the bloodwoods, friends all around the country, and a heart as good as new. I've got everything but nothing without you. Too much time for thinking, it's gonna drive me mad. I'll walk along the river, I'll watch a motel movie, but lovers make me sad. I've got everything but nothing without you. I've got mountains, I got rivers, got a chandelier of stars, I've got blossoms on the bloodwoods, got friends all around the country, and a heart as good as new. I've got everything but nothing without you. When this life that binds me turns me loose, lets me rest on my laurels, will you put your head on my shoulder and share the peaceful years? I've got everything but nothing without you. I've got mountains, I've got rivers, got a chandelier of stars, got blossoms on the bloodwoods, friends all around the country, and a heart as good as new. I've got everything but nothing without you. I've got mountains, I got rivers, got a chandelier of stars, got blossoms on the bloodwoods, friends all around the country, and a heart as good as new. I've got everything but nothing without you. I've got everything but nothing without you.
How truly blessed were you all to know this man. Grief is a heavy and painful place to be. But it's okay to find joy and beauty along the way, to live fully, even in the midst of sadness, is a lasting tribute to the wonderful man that you have lost. And Mark would want you to continue living with joy. Always remember that grief doesn't follow a linear path. It's a lifelong journey where happiness can find its steps. Mark possessed a deep spirituality and I share with you now the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. As mentioned earlier, Mark was a highly respected member of the Masonic Lodge. I invite Mr. David Grisbach to come forward for the Masonic oration. Thank you, David. Thank you, David.
Linda, Mark's extended family, ladies, friends and brethren. This is an honour to stand here today to be part of this Masonic oration, and I thank Linda for the invitation for asking me. Mark, I have no doubt, worked and lived by the Masonic edicts of truth, of honour and of virtue. To talk about Mark and the Masonic during his Masonic life would take hours, and so I have condensed it as much as I possibly can. Mark was initiated into Bernie Recab Lodge, number 47, on the 23rd of the 3rd, 1989, passed to the degree of a fellow craft at Monato Lodge in Stanley on the 1st of the 7th, 1989, raised to a Master Mason on the 22nd of the 2nd, 1990 at Bernie Recab. I probably knew Mark for approximately 40 years. 20 years, the first 20 years was doing business with him at Bonnie's, and then entering the lodge at my own initiation, being tapped on the shoulder. He was this large man, white hair, moustache, and this big hand. And he said, "It was about time, wasn't it? G'day, copper." Mark was a founding member of the Bernie Masonic Lodge in 1992, which was an amalgamation of the Gill Memorial, Bernie Recab and Davies Lodges. For many years he held numerous positions in the lodge, but for the last 20 years he held the positions of secretary or assistant secretary. Mark was Worshipful Master of Bernie Masonic Lodge on 4 occasions: 1994, 2006, 2011 and 2017. 2 of those occasions was at very late notice, as the elected brethren were too ill and unable to take their position. Mark selflessly volunteered to take on the position of Worshipful Master to enable the Lodge to continue. In 2023, Burnie Masonic Lodge and Emu Lodge amalgamated, and Mark was our inaugural secretary. Mark joined the Grand Lodge installation team of the Northwest and held all positions from 1997 through to 2004. From Grand Tyler, Grand Pursuivant, Grand Swordbearer, Junior Grand Deacon, Senior Grand Deacon, Director of Ceremonies, and on 2 occasions he was the Grand Inspector of Lodges in 2013 and 2004, as well as being the Grand Chaplain in 2014. He was appointed Senior Grand Warden in 2016. As Senior Grand Warden, which is a state position, Mark, along with Linda, became an inspiration to all of us. For a Senior Grand Warden, especially the State Grand Warden, you have to attend as many installations as you can to support the Grand Master. And in the south of the state, many of the installations are held during the evening of the week. And Mark and Linda would set off from Rocky Cape, head down to Huonville, Sorrel, Sandy Bay Road, and all points in between. And still find time to, as you can tell by the photographs, make a home at Rocky Cape. I did ask him at the end of his tenure, how many kilometres did you do on the with that little blue Trident? He said, quite a few. Mark's commitment to Grand Lodge was ongoing after completing his term as Senior Grand Warden. Mark was appointed Grand Superintendent of Works and instigated several occupational health and safety initiatives to assist the older members of our lodge in getting around the lodge and staying safe. As well as during COVID, he assisted in establishing guidelines so our lodges could continue meeting. The rank of past Deputy Grand Master was conferred on Mark on the 28th of the 8th, 2021. I believe Mark's dedication to Freemasonry can be summed up with this. Each year we encourage brethren to apply for a position on the Northwest Grand Lodge installation teams or one of our committees. And on one of Mark's applications, he wrote, "Wherever I can be of service." Brethren, would you please rise? Brethren and friends, from time immemorial, it has been the custom amongst members of the Masonic fraternity to meet on occasions such as this, to pay tribute to a departed brother. God, the great architect of the universe, has beckoned the spirit of one of our esteemed brethren, Right Worshipful Brother Ronald Mark Stillman, past Deputy Grand Master. This severing another link in the chain of our fraternal friendship. The land skem is an emblem of purity and innocence and is the badge of a Mason. It is more ancient than the Golden Fleece or Roman Eagle and is considered more honourable than the Garter when worthily worn. This emblem we now deposit with the earthly remains of our brother. The sprig of acacia is an emblem of our faith. As an evergreen, it reminds us that we have within us an immortal part which will never die, And though we shall all one day face death, yet we may confidently hope that our souls will bloom in eternal spring. This we deposit with the apron. The earthly labours of Right Worshipful Brother Mark Stillman have been completed, and we now commend his spirit to God, who gave it in God to grant consideration to those who by human ties, consolation to those who by human ties were near and dear to him. Let us remember that one by one we too must answer the summons. May we be prepared when it comes. So mote it be. I'd invite the brethren to come forward.
Don't go looking through that old camphor box, woman. You know those old things only make you cry. When you dream upon that little bunny rug, makes you think that life has passed you by. There are days when you wish the world would stop, woman, but then you know some wounds would never heal. But when I browse the early pages of the children, it's then I know exactly how you feel. Hey, it's July and the winter sun is shining, and the Cootamundra wattle is my friend. For all at once my childhood never left me, 'cause wattle blossoms bring it back again. It's Sunday and you should stop the worry, woman. Come out here and sit down in the sun. Can't you hear the magpies in the distance? Don't you feel the new day has begun? Can't you hear the bees making honey, woman, in the spotted gums where the bellbirds ring? You might grow old and bitter 'cause you missed it. You know some people never hear such things. Hey, it's July and the winter sun is shining, and the Cootamundra wattle is my friend. For all at once my childhood never left me.
A life well lived is a precious gift of hope and strength and grace from someone who has made our world a brighter, better place. It's filled with moments sweet and sad, with smiles and sometimes tears, with friendships formed and good times shared, and laughter through the years. A life well lived is a legacy of joy and pride and pleasure, a living, lasting memory our grateful hearts can treasure. Mark's definitely was a life well lived. Loyal, loving, and considerate in every way, Mark had enjoyed good health until recent months. The family would like to sincerely thank the staff of the Northwest Regional Hospital and the palliative care team for their care of Mark. And today, Linda and the family say a huge thank you to you all for being here and for sharing Mark's journey and for showing them just how much you care. It is now time to lay this wonderful man to rest. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand if you are able? Mark, go forth from this world knowing that you are loved beyond measure, that you will be missed more than words can say, that you will be remembered and cherished, and that love will never end. We will hold you close within us, and there you will remain, to be with us throughout our lives until we meet again. And as we now hold your memory in our hearts and send you on your final journey, may you forever rest in peace with the certain knowledge that our love goes with you. And so it is with love and gratitude that we now commit all these fond memories to be locked away in our hearts as we gently yield your body to be cremated. Mark, we celebrate you, we honour you, but most of all we pay tribute to that consistent love and loyalty that you always shared so willingly with your family, friends and colleagues. And so we ask that you go now with all our love. You are so dearly loved. You are in our hearts and our minds, and we will carry you with us as we move forward with our lives. One and all, you can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that he has left. Your heart can be empty because you cannot see him, or you can be full of the love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live only for yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him and only that he's gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your eyes, be empty and turn your back. Or you can do what Mark would want you to do. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. Mark, rest now at the end of your days. Rest in the hearts and minds of all those who love you. And so with love, we shall leave you in peace. And with respect, we bid you a fond farewell.